What is up, Passport family? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing why Passport Bros should avoid Medellin, or in general, why you just may not want to come to Medellin. If you don't know me, I go by Passport Graffiti. My name is Sean. I've been living here in Medellin, Colombia now for a little over a year, almost about a year and a half. I do own a car here. I believe Medellin is a great city overall, but there are a lot of cons about it. So I definitely wanted to cover that in this video. Now, starting off with my first topic here is that Medellin is one of the most expensive cities in Colombia, maybe second after Cartagena, but it may be beating Cartagena. It definitely is more expensive than Bogota, which is the capital. From everything from housing to food prices to gas. I believe gas probably averages here in Medellin about $4 a gallon or somewhere around there. I'm not sure about other cities. I haven't been to, haven't really looked at gas prices in other cities because before I had a car, I was just taking Uber. But in general, in other cities like Cali or Bucaramanga or, other cities, Pereira, Manizales, just in general, cost of living, housing, everything is a lot cheaper than what it is here in um, Medellin. Now, you'll see a lot of videos, which I do hate these type of videos, and I wish I would have grabbed an example of one. Is basically videos saying, "Oh, come with me to spend $100 in Medellin or whatever," and what they do is mainly just go to cheap, um, you know, like a food cart or something like this, and buy something that is super cheap, but they're not going to like a fancy restaurant or the places that you actually will want to go to have fun and do things. So let's just say right now, um, housing, of course, here is still going to be way cheaper than what it is more than likely in Europe or in United States, maybe even Canada. But for Colombia, it is considered pretty expensive if you are living in one of the main general areas and one of the higher estratos. If you don't know, Medellin is broken up into estratos, 1 through 5, I believe, or 1 through 6. 5 or 6 being the top of the top, the Beverly Hills, basically like, and considered safe. A lot of well-off Colombians will be living in those areas. Now, um, let's just say in general, right now I pay maybe about I would say $1,100 for my apartment. I do have a friend; he's paying about $1,500 for his apartment. We both have 3 bedrooms. Mine is a lot smaller, but if you were to go to like Cali, Colombia, or just another city, major city in Colombia, or let's say state, or whatever, you could definitely be getting about the same, or if not more, for less. Um, as I said, going out here can be very expensive as well. Let's just say your average date is going to cost you somewhere around $50 roughly. It really depends on how much the girl drinks, and where you go. If you're going to one of the more fancier restaurants in Poblado, average meal is going to be somewhere around, let's say 40. Yeah, I would say about 40 to 50 mil pesos. And, if the girl decides to get a drink or two, those average about the same. So, um, definitely can get a little pricey with dating here and going out. Definitely if you're going out to clubs and getting bottle service, stuff like that. Bottle service overall is not too expensive if you're getting like aguardiente or something like that. But like I said, I'm basing these standards off of other cities in Colombia or other parts of Colombia, not necessarily comparative to the United States or Europe. So, getting into the second one, single moms and women with tattoos. Now, if you are coming here specifically for dating, I did not come here for dating. I originally came to Medellin to learn Spanish and fell in love with the city. Don't get me wrong, it does help that you do have more dating options than you would back home, but I didn't specifically come here for women. I didn't have an issue with getting women back in the United States, where I lived in Miami before moving here. And this was not a kind of like a band-aid to fix a problem. It was more so I wanted to learn Spanish. And in general, I love the city as far as the people, the weather, cost of living, which is still, like I said, way cheaper than living in the United States, and a bunch of other factors. But one thing that is very, very bad here, and I didn't date single moms in the United States, and I didn't travel overseas to start dating them as well, is that you do have a large amount of single mothers here. I have talked about this in other videos in length. So if you haven't caught one of those, go back and watch one of my other videos. I believe one that talks about it is cons of dating in Medellin. But there is a very, very large population of single moms here. So if you're not trying to, financially and be responsible for another person's kid, that makes it extremely hard to date here. Also, you have just the issue of time and availability, and where you're put on the priority list when you're dealing with women that have kids. And I believe the statistic or the number is something around 80% of women, and this is all of Colombia, not just Medellin in general, but Colombia, have kids or are single mothers. So there's a very big culture here of, women getting pregnant, the father leaving, and basically them being the ones who have to take care of the kid or be head of the household. And that also sometimes means not just for themselves and their kid, but it also means for themselves, their kids, and their entire family. I have met some women here who basically are the head of the household. Mom doesn't work, so they work to take care of the mom and their kid and themselves. So there's a big financial responsibility on top of that as well. Now, the other thing is women with tattoos. I don't know if it's just only Medellin. I've only visited a few other parts of Colombia, and it was for a very short time, a week or less. So I didn't get a large enough sample size to actually really speak on this, but I can speak on it with Medellin. And if you're not a big fan of women with tattoos, Medellin is definitely not going to be a place that you want to come. So many women here have either just a bunch of tacky, ugly tattoos, or just random tattoos that don't really, kind of flow or go together. Or, it's like if you have one or two in a place that's sexy, cool, that's fine. But you'll see a lot of girls here that have sleeves, that have leg sleeves, or they just have, chest tattoos. You'll get a lot that have neck tattoos, some that even have face tattoos. That's not super common, but you will see it here. Or just, a bunch of random tattoos all over their body. For some reason here in Medellin, it is just a very big part of the culture, or it's accepted of, being tatted up. And like I said, if that's not something that you really want for a future spouse of yours, Medellin is definitely not going to be it. Now, I'm not saying there aren't any women here without tattoos, but I want to say it's probably about 90% of them have some sort of tattoos, and definitely is usually more than one. So this is another thing that just may be a big con for you, or something that you may not want to deal with coming to Medellin. So the next thing I want to get into is sex workers and pay for play. Because there are such limited employment opportunities here, it is very hard to get jobs or progress in jobs and move up and make a lot of money if you aren't just I would say an entrepreneur or business owner. It only leaves these women with the opportunity of sex work. And it is whether it's from massage parlors, it's from regular just pros who work the street, it's from webcam girls. A large amount of women are involved in some type of some type of sex work or pay for play. So, if you wanted to go somewhere and meet normal girls, now you can meet them here in Medellin. Not saying it's impossible or they don't exist here, but it is a large possibility that you will run into women that are in some type of sex work or either pay for play. So this can be a big con if you expecting to go somewhere and just meet some normal women. It can be very hard here in Medellin. Now, as I said before, that I'm not saying it's impossible. There are a lot of normal women here that you can meet, go out, but like I said, it is going to be a large possibility that some of them may be involved in either webcamming, and definitely this is usually a profession I try to avoid in general. Is if girls are they do any kind of massages, I usually avoid those anyways, because most of the women here, in my experience, even if you just try to go for a normal massage, they're going to offer the final feliz or the happy ending. So they're in sex work essentially. So that's definitely one profession that I will avoid at all costs. If any girl tells me she's a um, I think they say massagista or something like that in Spanish. Just in general, if she works at a spa, does any kind of massages, I would avoid him. Like I said, generally 9 times out of 10, those women are usually involved in either massages with just happy endings or massages with sex. So avoid that. The pay for play as well, that is a huge thing here. A lot of girls are looking for mutual benefits. A lot of them may not say it up front, but it is something that is very, very prevalent here. So this may also be a reason, why you want to avoid Medellin. Now, going into this next one, a lot of the most beautiful women here are monetized. And I guess that's no different than anywhere you go in the world, whether you're in the States, Canada, Europe, the UK. Thanks to social media and Instagram and dating apps, um, it's going to be hard to go to any place pretty much in the world, even if you're going to some small rural little area. If a girl there is beautiful and she has Instagram or TikTok, she's going to have a bunch of men that are either soliciting her, offering her flyer out somewhere. So it can be very hard to get a very beautiful woman. Like, I know when I first got here, I was like, oh, I'm American. I dress decent. I would say I'm about average looks or a little bit better. So I shouldn't have a problem with finding like one of the finest Pisces out here or finest Colombian women and getting with them. And that could be so much further from the truth, is that those women are all got sugar daddies or they got sponsors, or they're kind of doing a build a bear thing where they're using one guy maybe for sex, they're using another guy for money, they're using this other guy for travel, they're using another guy for something else. So they're kind of outsourcing everything to essentially make their perfect guy, or it's just their hustle. But as well, a lot of the really, really beautiful women here also, then you have to think, if a woman she's beautiful, she's submissive, she's fit, like she's in the gym, she can cook, and all that stuff, she's friendly to be around or cool to be around. Those women don't stay single very long. And that's the same here in Colombia. Not only do you have the competition with local Colombians who have money, but it's also, other gringos as well. But from my experience, just from either cold approach or, trying to meet these girls out, a lot of the really, really beautiful ones tend to either be married, have boyfriends already. Not, like I said, not all. You can find some that are single. But another thing out here is that cheating is a very big part of the culture here as well. So Sometimes you can meet a girl and be like, hey, you go to talk to her, and just because you didn't ask her if she has a boyfriend, she's not going to tell you. Some of you may not see a problem wrong with that, but I look at it on the flip side. If it's me dating a girl and somebody goes to talk to her, I would hope that she would say she has a boyfriend, not that she's going to entertain it and then, you know, finally at some point later be like, oh, I have a boyfriend. It just leaves too much room for confusion and error and shit happening. So, getting into my last point here, and this is going to be cultural annoyances. This is a Colombia thing, and it may not. Yeah, it's a Colombia thing. It's not just limited to um, Medellin. So one of those are going to be your language barrier. If you don't speak a lot of Spanish, it can get very annoying at times, just not understanding, constantly having to use translators, misunderstanding stuff. Also as well, that Colombian women are very needy, and this is something that has been very hard to even after being here for about a year or a little over a year, almost a year and a half. It's still hard for me to get used to. Like when a girl gets sick, they expect you to message them a lot and ask if they're okay and send them things, and whether it be stuff to help them feel better, flowers, whatever it is, they expect you to be very on top of it, very attentive. Which if you come from anywhere that's Western influenced with dating, that would be considered as like needy or doing too much or whatever it is. So that's been hard to get used to. The neediness of Colombian women. I would say as well. I've talked about this before, and that's flakiness. Colombian women are very flaky, but in general, it is just their culture that they don't like saying no. So they will make plans with you and agree to meet, and it could be the day before, and then the next day they will come up with some type of excuse, or just not answer at all. And this can be very annoying and also frustrating. Trust me, I know I've dealt with it and continue to deal with it. But I think it's wherever you go, you do have to take the good with the bad. So it is something that you will have to just get used to or be okay with. I would say other cultural differences is just, you know, Colombian women tend to think that foreigners, definitely Americans, are very cold because uh, Colombian women, they like their men very, very affectionate the same way they are. But when I say affectionate, I don't just mean physically, I mean with words. So, you know, they don't, how you would say babe in the States or maybe in the UK, they expect, that kind of sweet talk or romantic talk all the time, not just every now and then, or, um, on special occasions or holidays. They expect you to be romantic with words, damn near like a poet, all the time. So it is something that can be, you know, little annoying, having to constantly be like sweet and I would say lovey dovey, whether it's in texting or talking. Um, Definitely a cultural annoyances. I'm going to say as well, cultural annoyances. I'm going to say the last one, and this is something that just, I guess it might be Latin America, not just Colombia or Medellin, but that is girls being late here or people being late. And also, that kind of ties into if you're trying to do business here, you're going to get a lot of times people won't call you back, they won't follow up, and you're going to be thinking in your mind, like, do you want to make money? But it is just a part of how culture is here, and it's something that you have to kind of adjust to and get used to. But people are always late here, definitely women. And the unfortunate part of this kind of cultural annoyances of being late is that they can be late, but you can't, so if they are expecting you to pick them up or meet them somewhere, you can't be more than a few minutes late, but they can be an hour late, or 30, 40 minutes late. So usually my kind of, I would say well, before I had a car, now I'll just go pick a girl up if she doesn't live in like a hood or an area that may not be the most safe. But I mean, usually I'm trying not to deal with those women anyways, but um, if I can pick her up, I will. But if I'm meeting them somewhere or I'll send an Uber or something, I usually will not start getting ready until they say that they are ready. Clearly, as a guy, it's going to take us less time, but just in case they flake or come up with some type of excuse, last minute, I didn't get dressed for nothing, and I can continue going on about my day and do whatever I'm doing versus you got ready specifically for this date. Let's just say if you're supposed to meet at 8 o'clock at night, you're in bed and you're like, all right, I gotta get up and start getting ready. I wouldn't start getting ready until she actually says she's ready, and either she's going to get a Uber or you're sending her Uber or whatever. So that's it for this video. I wanted to touch on these things really quick and give you guys this information, so that way some of you, it may help you make the choice of whether to come to Medellin or not. That's it. And I'm going to be trying to push out more content. Appreciate you guys watching, and until the next one, peace.